Okay.
Hi, everybody. You're listening to Thanks We Hate It. I'm Mickey Adkins.
And I'm Hannah Lehman.
Thanks for coming to the pod, everybody. You're listening to episode 16. Yay! Good for us. How are you doing, Hannah?
I'm doing pretty good. Do you want to briefly talk about, we will have made the announcement already since then, but do you want to briefly talk about cutting back on the pod just a little bit, hopefully temporarily?
Yeah, ideally. But yeah, I think it's important for our mental health, you know?
Yeah.
We're going to be moving the pod to every other week instead of weekly for a little while because the editing, the workflow or workload rather, is quite significant. So, and also bless you, Hannah, for doing the editing because I know that it is difficult.
Thank you. Well, Erin did take over for a while, which I was very grateful for because that it was a few weeks break, and then some extenuating circumstances happened, which was understandable. And I think just realistically, like, okay, I'll be real honest with everybody. Like, it's very, like, we absolutely adore this podcast. We love doing it. We love sitting down with each other every week. Like, it's honestly usually me and Mackie's catch up time too. Like we often talk for 20 minutes before the pod, and like, I love, like, we just enjoy it so much. So I just want to make sure everybody knows, like, nothing happened.
Like, there's nothing, no beef or anything.
Nothing. Yeah, absolutely nothing bad happened. It's simply just that the workload is a little too much for us with the full-time channel right now because quite frankly, we are not making any money off the podcast right now, which we were never in the podcast to make, like, we didn't think it would make us rich or anything, but we don't have enough to cover an editor at this point. Like,
it would be like costing us money to hire an editor to keep the podcast going every week.
Correct.
Which
it
is
would,
kind
like,
of
put us in the negative.
Yeah, obviously.
Right.
So
we
we're
both
just going to
decided
do every other week for a little while.
Did not want to do it. Yeah. So really hoping that it will go back to once a week in the future, though. If you guys could all bear with us, we're just working on some stuff behind the scenes, and we'll keep you all updated. Yeah. So
it's a lot of work, man. I know that, like, it's kind of a weird thing to complain about being an influencer because, like, we do love our jobs, obviously, and it is way less labor intensive than some other jobs. But, like, the mental load of running a channel full time and editing the pod and, like, situating schedules and stuff, it's a lot.
And I would almost say, like, it's not that it's easier. In some ways it is. I don't want to discredit the fact that influencers are very privileged. Yeah. But I would say it's just more flexible in a lot of ways that other jobs aren't.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point.
I think the flexibility is what makes it so desirable to a lot of people. Is that you literally can, if you get sick one day, you don't have to tell anybody. You're just like, not doing anything today, I guess. I think that's kind of goes along with the pod too, is that we do have flexibility. We just it's still a lot of work though to keep sit down. I mean, it takes a good, probably like a good chunk of our week that we could be spending on monetizable content. So anyway.
But so anyways, thanks for bearing with us while we're in transition. We love y'all the most. And I'm sure it will go back to weekly eventually. Just, you know, for the time being.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Real quick, I wanted to announce that I bought a doggy DNA test.
Oh my God.
I spent the extra $50 on the health one too, to get any health insights about Winnie. She just turned 6 years old, and I wanted to ask Mickey live. I haven't brought this up to Mickey yet, but live on the air when it comes back, would it be cute to do the results live?
Yes. 100%.
On the podcast before I even know, like, I'll open the results live on the podcast.
I would love that. That would be so fun.
Would that be fun?
Yes.
Because a lot of people have seen her even on the podcast, but a lot of my followers know what she looks like. But I think that would be a real cute thing to do in the Chit Chat.
That would be so fun. I would love that.
So,
okay, cool.
Yes.
Yay.
I know. I'm very, very curious. If you guys don't know what Winnie looks like, I'll try to insert a picture here in the editing, because of course this is the one time she's not up in my grill while I'm on this couch. Absolutely nobody on earth knows what she is.
She's like a very like non-breed specific looking dog. you know?
Very much so. I get questions about what kind of breed she is all the time.
I feel that.
And I know she's got some Shih Tzu in there and Terrier, but beyond that, I have no idea. And people say she looks like a little raccoon, which she definitely does. She's got a little raccoon.
Cute.
Face. Yeah.
So. I'm so excited about it. Please share those results with us as soon as you get them, because I'm
so excited.
Okay, cool.
How are you, Mickey? How is everything going over there?
I'm doing
You said it's
okay.
102 there.
Yeah, it's hot here. I'm just fucking over it. Like, I'm so ready for fall to start. Oh my God. I wanted to tell you, by the way.
Okay. Tell me.
I've been waiting to tell you about this until we started Chit Chat. I saw a TikTok yesterday about the Halloween decor at Michael's. And a lot of it is like very pastel goth. At least this TikTok was like lots of cute pastel goth stuff. Yes, I know. And so I went there because I was like, I want like a pink witch's cauldron. Yeah. That's so cute. They didn't have that stuff out, but they did have a bunch of other stuff that was like literally so your aesthetic. It made me think of you. I almost sent you a picture of it, but I was like, save it, Mickey, for the pod. So if you have a Michael's near you, you should go, because I feel like you would love it. It's so cute. I bought a couple of things.
I love Michael's.
Yeah.
And I've gotten like for this this decoration on my wall, I got from Michael's last year Halloween. Yes.
Michael's Halloween decor is like low-key kind of good.
Actually really good. Yeah. I know. And I have to go in there knowing I might spend quite a bit on their decor. Same. Especially because I collect like this, goth decor kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I have several other Halloween decorations from there last year that I have out all year. Like they're like witch's brew and like their poisons.
Because they're
and
so
stuff.
Cute.
So cute. It's so cute. So thank you for the tip, because I
definitely go.
I am like, yeah, I may look a little Wednesday Addams-y here, but the rest of my house is not like this. And I do love pastel and colors as well. Yeah. So it does sound really cute.
Yeah, there's some really cute stuff. So,
oh my gosh.
But yeah, what I was saying is that I'm just like so over the heat. I'm ready for it to be fall and like Halloween time and just like slightly cooler, because it's just like a lot. The other thing that I am just absolutely transfixed by at the moment is a video game. It's called Baldur's Gate 3, but it's like D&D except in a video game form. It's like turn-based combat and stuff, and it's so fucking fun, Hannah. I'm telling you, I have a sickness. I have a disease. Like, if I'm not playing it, I'm thinking about it, and if I'm not doing either
it's one of those
things, I'm sleeping. Like, there's literally
no.
I am obsessed with this game. Aaron and I started playing a co-op game, or like a multiplayer game together. And I want to play it all the time. It has made me so
what is it called?
Productive. It's called Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate. I'm sure we'll get comments of people that know what it is. As you guys know, I'm really bad at video games.
Yeah. Aaron and I talked about it. There's a lot to unpack here. But
I understand the addiction part of like getting obsessed with a book or a show or something, and you're like literally can't think about anything. But
it's so debilitating. I've been so unproductive all week because all I want to do is play that game. But
it's hard to focus on stuff because
I'm like putting off.
Then they did a good job.
Yes,
getting the dopamine all up in your brain when you're playing it. So
I've been doing a lot of that and work, and that's pretty much it. That's my whole life right now. Video games.
Well, I'm excited that I'm not coming to visit you till October, because it should be a little cooler down there, right?
Yes.
It'll probably is it still pretty warm in October there though?
It's not cold. That's for like, it will never be cold here. That's for
it's not 50s. Yeah, it's usually 40s, 50s here in October.
No. So if I remember correctly from last year, it will be probably like in the high 80s, 90s, maybe the hundreds in the peak part of the day, and then in the evening it'll be really nice.
Maybe hundreds.
Well, and also I feel like this year has been really weird. Like, it's been so incredibly hot. But it happened later this year than it normally does. So like, I don't know, climate change is really fucking our shit up. who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what the weather's going to look like.
Does it get dark there early, though? It gets darker there early as fall comes. So that helps a lot. Even if it's really hot during the day, if the sun goes down quick, at least it cools off.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, you could stand a lot higher temperature if you're in the shade, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You could sit in the shade for hours in 80-degree weather and be just fine. It's when you're sitting in the sun that's like, that bakes you. So.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah. I tried slime. I don't know if you saw my TikTok.
I saw your TikTok.
But I did.
Yes. Please tell us about your slime journey, Hannah.
I have 3 of them, and I've only done that one so far.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was exactly what I thought. Like, and I liked it. Like, it was definitely like the picture of the texture in my mind matched what it was in real life. It was very fun. I did play with it for a while, and I like kept it in an airtight container, so I'm sure I'll play with it a few more times. Definitely not going to buy any more after the other 2 that I bought because something I did not anticipate was the fact that the smell lingers on your hands for a long time.
What does
and
it
the
smell
like? Well, it's supposed to smell like cake batter. Like that one was cake batter scent, but they have different scents for the different slimes. But it's obviously not real. It's a chemically smell, and then it's a light chemically smell on your hands. And I literally wanted to throw up for the next few hours because it smelled like. It reminded me, it's like the reason I don't like Tim Burton movies. Mm-hmm. It was like that smell. It was like the smell of the way Tim Burton movies make me feel, if that makes sense.
Like a little.
Like that.
I think
like
I'm tracking.
The weird claymation and stuff of Tim Burton movies. I like also like
stop
for example,
motion
or like
kind of stuff.
Some stop motion is okay, but like anybody will tell you, if anybody in my life knows me, and it will shock many people to find out that I don't like The Nightmare Before Christmas. I've never been able to sit through it.
Interesting.
I think boring movie, in my opinion. Fair. I've tried several times, and it kind of skeeves me out too, like the animation and stuff. Beetlejuice is another movie that I absolutely cannot stand. I hate the cinematography and the aesthetic. I don't know what it is. I'm not a good goth girl with some of the classics, like Edward Scissorhands, and then like not so much Coraline, but like the Tim Burton type style just makes me
not for you.
It feels like I don't know. It gives my brain the way like when you touch a microfiber cloth kind of thing, you know, like that texture. It's just like for some reason I just can't do it. Yeah. And the slime smell, like I liked playing with it, but I'm gonna wear gloves next time is the moral of the story. Like I'm just gonna wear gloves next time I play with it, because I'll still be able to feel it and everything, which will be fun. And I think I'm gonna make more TikToks with it because that was fun to like talk while I was setting it up. But I definitely literally the way the slime smells is the way I imagine a Tim Burton movie would smell if I went into it. It's so weird, but
I hear what you're saying though, when things are like linked like that in your mind.
Yes. Yeah.
You can't like unsmell it or like unsee it. You know what I'm saying? You can't like
I just don't understand how the slime hobbyists, the people that collect it and get really into it, like that, I just don't understand how they can stand to have the smell on their hands all the time. Or people that like the CEO of Snoop Slimes, the one that I bought from, is like 20. Like she started it as a teenager. She's super young.
Yeah.
And she's using it, like she's touching it every single freaking day, and I'm just how? I mean, I'm sure they're wearing gloves most of the time when they're handling stuff they're gonna ship out.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like it's also probably just like the nose blind thing, you know, where you like are desensitized to it, like how we don't smell the scent of our own houses anymore unless we've like been on vacation and then we come back, kind of a thing. Like they might just not smell it anymore.
That's true. But that's pleasant. It's like comforting to smell your own smell, you know?
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah.
But I get what you're saying.
A very particular smell.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Did you have anything else for our chit chat?
I don't think so. I don't have any other updates.
The one time that we actually we could chit chat for a long time if we wanted to.
I know.
We don't have anything super time sensitive to talk about.
Yep.
We're going to do an Am I the Asshole episode today, you guys.
Yay.
we thought it would be fun to just we're not like turning into an Am I the Asshole podcast or anything like that, but we wanted to do an episode where we did have fun when we did one at the end of a different episode, and we thought it'd be fun to just kind of like go back and forth and like take turns reading them and then give you guys our thoughts on them. I personally like the format, and let me know if you also are okay with doing it this way. If not, it doesn't matter that much. But do you want to do where we like talk about it and then we don't read everybody else's consensus in the comments of the post until after we've like made a decision for like us or whatever we decide? Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. I think that's fun. So
also,
that sounds
this
good to
is
everybody.
The most ADHD thing ever. I'm so sorry, but I
Please
saw a TikTok earlier this week, and I wanted to ask you. I forgot to mention it during Chit Chat.
Oh, sure.
When you refer to yourself in your own head, we've already talked about the inner monologue thing. You and I both have one. When you refer to yourself in your own head, do you use we, us pronouns, or do you use me, my pronouns? Like, do you refer to yourself in the singular or the plural?
That's one of those things that I'd have to like pay attention while I'm living life to like realize. But like my first instinct is that I usually say my. Mm-hmm. I have heard of people with diagnosed DID say that they refer to themselves as we, us a lot. Sometimes. I'm sure that's not true for everybody with DID, but like I have heard that. But like I don't think, unless I'm like thinking of me and my dog, because I often refer to Winnie as my fifth limb.
Part of you, yes.
And so like if but I guess if I'm like getting ready with my dog to go out somewhere, then I'm talking to her and I'm narrating everything out loud anyway. Yes. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna go do this, and then we're gonna pile in a car, and then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna.
That's so cute.
I just made her look up at me like,
She's
what are we
doing? We're going where now?
Yeah, exactly. So
That's so funny.
Yeah, I think I mostly
because I use we, us.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Like I will tell myself like in my brain, especially if I'm like doing the ADHD thing where I haven't eaten in a few hours, or like I know I have stuff to do, I will talk to myself and be like, okay, we need to get up. Like we need to just go do this thing. And then once you get it done, like you're gonna have free time. Like I talk to myself like I'm referring to like myself and my inner self or something. I don't know who I'm talking to. I can assure you that it's not like separate identities or like personalities or anything, but it's just like I refer to myself as a collective for some reason. Isn't that interesting?
I can see that. I do think that's interesting. And also it makes sense though, because just like in therapy, how a lot of us learn how to name our anxiety, like a name, like, you know, shut up, Tracy. And in order to like separate ourselves from the anxiety, to like help us feel like we're not as, you know, we're not gaslighting ourselves and everything as much.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like similar to something like that, where you're like saying, because we are a little bit separate. I mean, in my opinion, I think like nobody will ever know what people are thinking in their head. Like we think all kinds of unfiltered thoughts in our head that we don't say out loud. Yeah. That's like human nature. And I mean, the difference between like a mean girl and not a mean girl is that some people keep it to themselves, right? And True. I think that's just a normal thing. So to me, we are a little bit like two different entities.
That's what I'm saying. And I think also because I, in my mind, separate like myself, my like core self, from my body and also from my brain. Like, because I know that like you were saying how we name our anxiety and stuff. I'm like, I know in my brain, like she's mentally ill. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, but my brain is. And so I'm going to like, you know, like she's anxious. I'm going to take care of her. But I like separate those concepts, I think. So maybe that's why I refer to myself as like a we.
I will try to pay attention to that, and I'll like get back to you on it. Yeah. To see if because maybe I'm just not paying it because I've never paid attention before.
Fair.
People should comment and let us know what they do too. If you have an internal monologue, what do you refer to yourself as we? I feel like for some reason I don't know. I have a feeling that when I pay attention, I'll probably be like I probably go back and forth, but I don't.
That's
know
fair.
For sure.
I feel like most people probably do some derivative.
A little bit of like I feel like I say I probably would say we if I'm being condescending to myself. Like if I'm being scolding, like more like oh like we like you said, like we need to get up. Like
yeah.
Because I think, or well, when I'm scolding myself, I'm probably saying you. I'm probably referring to myself not as I need to get up, but like, okay, you need to get off your butt.
Yes.
You've been watching YouTube for 3 hours. You need to get up and you need to eat food. You need to do this or that.
Yeah.
So, that's so interesting.
Funny. Yeah.
I never thought of that.
So yeah, put that in the comments if you guys want to. I just thought it was interesting, and I'm curious about other people's inner monologues. So
I also want to do a quick update on the Tay boop.
Oh, Tay boop.
The Tay boop situation, because I followed up on that the other day because I wanted to like see when I was editing the podcast, actually I was looking up the TikToks, and Tay, people are not letting up on Tay. No. People are big mad at Tay. Okay, at this point, in my personal opinion, like, I'm not saying what she did was like cool or anything. Like, what she did was wrong, but the backlash she's getting at this point feels disproportionate to to the crime.
I feel like it's the thing where people get like whipped up about things and then like want to defend someone that they care about, and like it's enough slices. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
that we get it. My God,
like,
you know?
Like, we get it now. Like, you go into any of her videos and it's just like, oh, so if I do that, am I copying you? Like, that's what every comment is. And I'm like, okay, she was punished. God. She lost a brand deal.
Yeah.
She got dragged by the entire internet.
Yeah.
She saw whether it was money motivated or not, which does seem like it was because of the brand deal, but she did apologize. Like, we'll never know what her true intentions are, though, like inside her head. So it's just kind of like, okay, is this the worst thing that anybody's done? Because I don't think so.
Yeah.
She did something really stupid. It's like...
Yes. Yeah, it was like mean girl behavior, but it wasn't like egregious racism or ableism or classism, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Like, it's not like she made a video about like misgendering somebody or like...
being an asshole.
Like being an asshole. Like she genuinely was like, and I also can't help but like, again, like it was stupid of her to act on the DMs she was getting, but I can understand feeling like she was in the right because everybody she was getting DMs from was telling her that she was in the right. And
I'm
then
more
she
inclined to think it was like an ego thing personally, but I do hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, I just mean that it validates the ego.
Oh, yeah. Like her getting those DMs was probably feeding.
We're validating, and making it seem like, oh, I could do this and then everybody's gonna,
Yeah.
Like, I don't like what she did. Blocking,
so weird.
Karen Joy was weird as hell, especially because I felt so sad for Karen Joy that she thought that they were like on good terms, and then she gets blocked and slammed over it. But I mean, the thing is that Karen Joy came out on the other side great. She gained hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok. True. When we were talking, you said she had 1.8 million. She's over 2 million now.
Yes, so it's like 2.1 now.
Yeah, so she got rewarded. Tay got punished. And it's just kind of like, to me, I'm just like, okay, you guys, like.
For what it's worth, I think
maybe touch a little grass.
Yes, for real. Go outside. There is a creator on TikTok. Their name is Imani Barbarin. Her handle is Crutches and Spice. She's a Black disabled content creator, and she just speaks a lot about marginalization and like issues of activism and stuff. But she also has several degrees, I think, in like communications and PR and like digital media and like media literacy, that kind of a thing. And she made a couple of videos talking about this situation that I thought were very interesting because she like warned everybody who's an influencer when the SAG-AFTRA strikes started. She was like, now listen here, like from a PR like media point of view, what's going to happen is that there's going to be a discourse vacuum because people aren't talking about struck work right now. A lot of influencers have pledged to not discuss like big like movies and TV. And then as the strike continues to go on and things aren't getting made, we as a collective have less to discuss in terms of pop culture. And so don't fucking put your ass in the street if you're an influencer, because people don't have anything to talk about right now. And so if you make a fool of yourself, there's going to be this vacuum where everybody is talking about it, and people are way more upset about it than they probably normally would be, because there's nothing else to be mad about. Yeah. And so she made a follow-up TikTok after the Tay Oops situation, being like, what did I say? Like, I told you, motherfuckers. And like, look what happened. So I do wonder if that's part of it. You know, I think people probably just latch on to stuff when there's less pop culture stuff to pick apart, especially celebrities. Yeah. It's a lot easier to pick apart celebrities.
Yeah, opinion, right. You know? It's less personal because, like if we say something, I always use the same examples, but if we said something, if we trashed Blake Lively, which I'm not, but like she would never hear us.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
If we trashed another YouTuber, they might very well hear us, or somebody might DM them and tell them. So that's very true.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
So there you go. Anyways, do you want to talk about some Am I the Asshole stuff?
Yeah, let's go. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. I found one before we started recording. I haven't looked at the comments, to be clear.
Okay, I just did good. I was looking at a couple as well.
I just did like a brief read through the thing.
There's one I really want to talk about, and I'm wondering if that would be really funny if we picked the same one.
Probably, honestly. Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
All right. So this says, the title says, am I the asshole for not giving my girlfriend, 25 female, my dinner after I had already bought her dinner? This says, my girlfriend, 25 female, and I, 29 male, live in New York City, and there's a popular app where you can buy leftover restaurant food. Restaurants advertise surprise bags at reduced prices in order to reduce food waste. The customer doesn't know what they're getting until they pick up the food. But the cost is at least 3 times lower than the normal menu price, which personally, I'm like, love this.
I was just thinking that same thing. I was like, city. Why isn't that everywhere?
I don't know, but I would buy the shit out of that. As it is,
Cheesecake Factory or Red Robin did that, because I would like anything on their menu.
Me thinking about local restaurants.
I know.
What Cheesecake Factory and Red Robin. I love that. I still haven't tried Red Robin in recent history. We should go while you're here. I don't even know if there is one here, but we can find one for you.
Oh, really? To be fair, like, it's not a cool place to go. My friends make fun of me for liking Red Robin because they live in Seattle, and I'm an East Sider. Okay. And so at least one of my friends, Alejandro, if you ever listen to this, I'm calling you out by name. We have this like ongoing like
debate.
He wants small business, nobody's ever heard of it, divey places. Me like too. That's the only place he ever wants to go. and then I'll come to an event and I'll be like, it's fine, I had Red Robin earlier, and he thinks that's the most East Sider thing ever.
Honestly, though, I feel like there is a balance between the two, because in the same breath that I will spend ungodly amounts of money on some like small, local, pretentious little restaurant, I will also spend ungodly amounts of money at fucking Olive Garden to eat just breadsticks and Alfredo and like their desserts. You know what I'm saying? I
Olive Garden slaps, okay?
It does. It's so good. It's just like such a fun, cozy meal. So like I can understand the Red Robin thing, because I think like a good life balance is being able to do both. You know,
I think one of the things that makes me an appealing human generally too is that I'm a very picky eater, but I am not picky about my quality of food. So I will happily eat a meal from McDonald's or Taco Bell or like, you know, and I will happily go to a fancier restaurant. Yes. I'm picky about the type of food I like, but I'm not picky about the like quality of the restaurant or something. And I feel like that's a good quality to have.
Yeah, I think that makes you adaptable. I can appreciate that.
You know.
I can vouch for that. We've traveled together. You're a very easy person to get along with and to eat with, I think.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Anyway,
okay. So that's like 3 times lower than the normal menu price. For example, if an entree is $24, the restaurant is allowed to charge $8 at most for it. Again, I think this is a win-win. So cool. These are hit or miss. Sometimes you get exactly what you want at a greatly reduced price, but sometimes you get something that you otherwise wouldn't have picked from the menu. I ordered a surprise bag from a barbecue place that I was picking up on the way home yesterday. I texted my girlfriend asking if she wanted one, but she said no, she wasn't in the mood for barbecue. However, there was an Indian restaurant right next door that also had surprise bags available on the app, so she ordered one of them. The barbecue was $12 and the Indian food was $10.
Okay.
When I got home, I unpacked the meals to see what we got. I was psyched about my bag. Since I paid $12, I knew the value had to be at least $36, but honestly, the platter looked a lot more expensive. This was a hit. Ooh. Keep in mind that we live in the West Village, which is the most expensive neighborhood in the most expensive city in the U.S., so $36 for one meal is pretty typical. Mm-hmm. There were burnt ends, ribs, pulled pork, baked beans, potato salad, bread, onions, and pickles.
So hungry.
I know.
And it what?
So good. And pickles.
Oh.
I love pickles. I am a pickle bitch.
I love pickles too.
My girlfriend, however, was less lucky. Her surprise bag only had 6 different types of soup, half of them being variations on cauliflower soup. She was disappointed to say the least. She asked if we could share my abundance, and I said, no, I'm hungry. I offered to buy you some already, and you said no, so I'm going to devour it. She got mad and called me an asshole. I told her if she didn't want the soup, she should have ordered something specifically instead of using the surprise bag app. I then told her to just order something off a food delivery app. She said she didn't want to spend the money. Another bit of context is that I make a lot more money than her and pay all of our rent. I know she's running a bit of a lean financial picture right now. I then tell her that if she doesn't want to pay for delivery, I'll walk to the bodega on our street and can buy her something there. Another bit of context is that we live on a 4th floor walk-up with no elevator, and she broke her leg in a car accident a month ago, so it can be tough for her to get around. She says the grill is probably off there, and all she wants is a hot meal. I tell her she has soup. Anyway, she thinks I'm the asshole, but in my defense, 1, I offered to buy her barbecue to begin with, which she declined. 2, she picked her own food and I grabbed it for her on the way home. And 3, when she wasn't satisfied, I suggested 2 solutions, either ordering something from an app or going to a bodega. So Reddit, am I the asshole? What's your opinion on this, Hannah?
I don't think he is.
What?
I almost did for a second, but then listen. As somebody who very much used to be that person that, especially with my mom, because my mom would tell me this as when I was younger, she'd be like, because like I would turn down all of her options. I'd be like, I would explain to her why none of those things were plausible. And it took me a long time to learn how fucking annoying that can be. Okay. So I thought at first I was like, why wouldn't he just share with her?
Yeah.
But then he kept offering her solutions, and every single one, she's like, no, like why none of it works. And it is kind of like, at this point, if you don't want to, I don't know. I think he could have offered to buy her delivery of something else since he makes so much money. If he wanted all of his food, like I don't really think it was rude of him to not share because he did offer to buy her some. It's kind of like that paying for dinner and then you're like, no fries for me, please. And then you spend the whole time picking off your partner's plate of fries.
Yeah.
Is kind of like, okay, yeah, it's just like popcorn. Like nobody is like in the mood for popcorn until they smell it. Yes. And then once you smell it, you're like, oh my God, I would kill a baby tree for some popcorn, right? And I'm a little annoyed at her. I would be annoyed too if I offered to buy them some. And if I were her, I feel like if somebody had offered to buy me some and they were like offering me all these solutions, I feel like, oh, it's not your fault that I don't like what I got. Like I'll figure something else out. Like at that point,
that's fair.
I don't know.
I hear what you're saying. I don't disagree with that necessarily.
But also, like, was he not super uncomfortable sitting there eating his feast while she was sitting there hungry?
That's the thing that gets me.
Yeah, like, that also seems a little bit, like, that part, like, I'm not saying he's, I don't know. I'm not saying he's not an asshole in general. I just think at this situation, she kind of, like, willfully refused a solution.
That's valid. I think the thing for me is that, first of all, it sounds like he got a lot of food, right? Like it's not like he had just enough food to like be full for his own self. And I think like this hardline stance of like, I offered to get you this and you don't want any, and so therefore I'm just gonna devour it all like,
in front of you.
Okay. That's so weird. And I would be so fucking butthurt. I'd be like, yeah, I ordered fucking surprise Indian food because I thought I was gonna get fucking Indian food, not fucking 6 different types of soup, man. Like, soup. Can you share a little bit of your fucking food with me? And then like I'll order something small or something, or like, you know what I mean? Or like, I think if he had offered to like, you can have like a few bites of mine, like I'm still gonna eat like my fill of my meal, but like, yeah, I'll share a little bit with you, and then we can order you something else from somewhere or something, just so that I'm not sitting here stuffing my face while you're sitting there with your soup being sad, you know, like that just feels so unnecessarily like rude to me.
Feels smug. It feels a little bit like, ha, I told you so.
Yes. Yeah. I think I also just have a soft spot for this though, because this is like a running gag in Aaron and I's relationship. Anytime that we order food from fucking anywhere for takeout or like through a drive-through even, it's always my fucking food that gets fucked up. Like they'll forget something from my order, or like it's just straight up wrong, or like made incorrectly. And it is so disheartening to like sit down for mealtime and then you're like, well, my fucking food is shitty and like this isn't what I thought I was getting, you know?
Right.
I feel like cauliflower soup is like kind of a far cry from Indian food, in my opinion. And so I would be like, I didn't know that this is what I was fucking getting.
Thought I was gonna get naan and like
something, you know,
like and curry and all this.
Yeah. So I feel like I would have, like, I would be mad too if Aaron did this to me. Like, are you fucking joking me, man? Like, you're not gonna share your food with me? Because also, like, sure, maybe I wasn't in the mood for barbecue earlier, but if my options are to like eat nothing or eat barbecue, then like I'm eating barbecue, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't disagree with you though. It does seem like he offered her a couple of solutions and she was like, no, I don't want them, which also sucks.
I know.
It's frustrating
I'm
to deal with that.
struggling really hard with the, like, I mean, if this was not discounted food, he said it'd be like $30 worth of food. And then he described it being so much, and that they live, didn't they say they live in New York, like in an expensive part of New York? I'm having a hard time believing that it was that much food, or as much food as he was describing too, because $30 in food is actually not that much. Like, that's you could reach that at a restaurant with like an appetizer and an entree, and that's like in other places, cheaper places. So I do like wonder if it's less than what he described. I think he made himself look like a butt by describing the plethora that he had that he had this smorgasbord of like all this food. And I just don't understand why, if it was as much as he was describing, why wouldn't he just share it with her? See, that's so from like, I get it, but also if I was him, I feel like a loving partner would not be comfortable just sitting there eating delicious food while their partner was hungry and just sitting there like, cool.
Because I think that's the other thing too, is that if the situation were reversed and Aaron got boned, right, and I ended up with a bunch of food, my immediate, like, I would scooch all the food to the middle of the table and be like, we can just share, baby, it's fine.
Yeah,
like, I'm sorry,
like,
you got shitty.
You'd be concerned because you'd want them to eat something too.
Yeah,
you'd be like, I don't want you to go to bed hungry.
You know,
So I just want to like also say, like, it just seems I mean, he did offer to go walk somewhere else to get her something else. Like, he was trying. He wasn't just being like, sucks for you. He was like saying like, well, you can order something else. But I guess the biggest problem I have with the whole thing is that if he makes so much more money, like he claims, then why does he have a problem just getting her something for delivery?
Also, too,
if she's financially.
Yes. The cynical part of my brain is also a little bit like raised eyebrow at the like offering to get her stuff because she broke her leg and like can't get up and down this 4-floor walk up very easily.
Would he do it if...
Would he have offered to get her food if her leg wasn't broken?
Yeah, that's true. Or he would have been like, well, go walk to the bodega and get something.
I have a sneaking suspicion that it's that one, which makes me like him less. But to be fair, that's entirely made up, right? Like, that's something that I literally just made up in my brain, and so I have no way to verify whether that's true or not. So
yeah, that's true. We don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to like say a final before we read the comments though. Like, what do we think?
I think he's an asshole. I would say like you're the asshole if I was voting on this.
Okay. I would say that he was more so an asshole than...
You can also do everybody sucks here.
Yeah. That's true. I don't know
I don't
if
think
like...
she sucks though. I think like
I don't think she was
more
right.
helpful, but
I think she was being
sucks.
obnoxious by like not like all like by it seemed like at some point being purposely like no. Like kind of like at that point like she did secretly want barbecue, and so she was trying to get him to that conclusion to like get him to give her some, because that's why she was rejecting all his other ideas. But I don't think that like what she did was inherently asshole-ish, so I don't think she sucks. Agreed. I think so I'm leaning more towards he's the asshole in this situation. So
look at the comments.
Okay.
Okay. The top comment has 37,000 upvotes. And it says, you're the asshole. Come on, man. You both did the surprise bags. Hers didn't work out. You know she can't afford to order something else, but didn't offer to help pay. You offered her crappy bodega food instead. You could have at least split the barbecue and ordered something else to share and split the price. That's what I said. If the situations were reversed and you'd gotten a bunch of crap soup while she had a feast, would you really want to sit there hungry, waiting for some crappy alternative while she chowed down?
That's a good point.
You're going to get lots of not the asshole that just have no concept of being nice and making small sacrifices for your partner. You and them seem like the types who, if their meal companion gets the wrong meal at a restaurant and has to wait a half hour for a new one, they'll sit there and eat and not even offer a fry. Edited to add, for fuck's sake, guys, I lived in New York City for a decade. I know bodegas have good food. The grill was closed. Her options would have been maybe a deli sandwich if they were still making them, but it could very well have just been like chips and cookies. She wanted a real dinner.
I hadn't thought about it like that. I do appreciate that like perspective of like if it were reversed, he would not have acted. He wouldn't have been like, "Oh, you're right."
Yeah,
I didn't, you know.
Yeah,
like.
I feel like that's just, that should be anyways a normalized part of healthy partnerships, is that like, is it my ideal to share this food with you when like I offered and you didn't want it? No, but also I don't want you to go hungry.
I'm also not a good person to ask because I haven't been in a relationship in like 5 years either.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I also have empathy. Like I also have basic empathy where like, I mean, even if my mom or something, like if the situation, I'd still be like, oh no, okay, well share some with me. Or in the first place, I'd have a backup plan knowing that the grab bags can be sketchy sometimes. Why didn't you get extra barbecue and have leftovers? If her Indian food was good, you'd have leftovers, and then if it wasn't, you'd have a backup plan, and then you wouldn't have to
even if it was just you and me, Hannah, like if we were like in a hotel room and you ordered these grab bags and you got shit, I'd be like, oh my god, like come here, like we can share my food.
Or we would honestly, what we would do if there wasn't enough, we'd probably go back out, like we'd put your food in the fridge and you'd walk with me to get something else.
Or we can like share half and half and then go get something else and like share half and half of that later, you know, to like feel full. Like it just, to me, it's not that complex. Like just be a nice person, man.
Remember when we were at LA and we
I knew you were going to talk about this.
And because I'm hungry and I'm thinking about how we went and ate those burgers on my bed in the hotel room, and then we shared that piece of cheesecake, but we were drunk and we were so full that we like didn't finish the cheesecake, but we both still ate it because it was so good.
Yes.
Oh,
that's a core
that
memory.
Has nothing to do with anything, but
those burgers were so good though.
The burgers were good. Yes. And it was hard to find food because it was a convention. And there was like everybody was
everything
so busy.
that you want from like late night drunk food. It was like greasy, cheesy, like big fat bun on a burger. Oh,
yes.
So good.
That was so delicious.
Wow, I love that.
Oh man.
All right, do you want to find one?
Anyway. Do you want actually read just a couple more comments and see if that's like I'm just curious, like you don't have to read the details of all of them, but I'm just curious if like other people are agreeing that he's an asshole.
The next top comment has 26,000 upvotes, and it says, so you had plenty of good food, could have shared it, had a good time, and gone to bed happy and in love. Instead, you're sitting here asking strangers on Reddit if you're an asshole. You're the asshole.
I would like to change my answer. I think I was wrong. I think I was wrong at the beginning. I think that was my first instinct, just because I know how annoying I can be when I like turn down solution after solution.
Sure.
But I think that first comment with the 37,000 upvotes really changed my mind. The way that he like phrased it. I think also he's like weirdly exerting his money power over her.
Yes, like it feels like a power thing.
Very much like a kind of like a well, sorry, you don't make any money and I can give you money when it suits me kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you love somebody enough to live with them, you probably should stop thinking about it as like, I'm sure she's contributing to the relationship in other ways.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Big agree.
Okay. I would like to respectfully change my mind and
heard and noted.
Okay. This one I think is going to be tough for.
Oh, no.
Okay. Am I the asshole? I told my daughter not to bother applying for college. This is a throwaway account. I am a 35 female and have a 16-year-old daughter, which means she had her daughter. I know, I just can't help but go there, but like she was 17? A teen mom.
Yeah.
That would be, no, I think that's more like 19.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm bad at math, so.
The only reason I know is because I've seen Gilmore Girls so many times, and I know that she was 32 when she had a 16-year-old, so I just added 3 years. That's how my brain does math. That's really my daughter has a late birthday, early mid-December, so she's going into her senior year of high school. She is a very smart girl, and I'm proud of what she's accomplished, but she's also young and naive in a lot of ways. She's easily manipulated. She doesn't pay much attention to her surroundings. She can't stand up for herself. She constantly still calls or texts myself and her father for help with things. Listen, I'm 32, and that's relatable.
Also, is that bad that she's calling you for help? Like,
no, I think she's just saying like probably situations that she could figure out herself and she's not.
Okay.
But I think that's still like pretty
to me
I think
personally,
that's still a pretty
like,
reasonable age.
Well,
16?
and like because I grew up feeling like I had no choice but to be independent, like the idea that your kids trust you enough to ask you for help to me sounds like a parenting win, personally.
True. More recently, I've also been concerned about her doing dangerous things or submitting to peer pressure from her friends.
Oh boy.
I've met them and they are not good kids. I've told her to stop talking to them, but she refuses and tries to go behind my back, because telling kids not to do things always makes them just immediately stop. Yeah. For these reasons, among others, her father and I have decided that we are not going to let her go off to college as long as she's a minor under our care. This means that she won't be going until the fall of 2024 because she doesn't turn 18 until that December. I'm not trying to stifle her, but I do want her to be safe. She was recently talking about starting to fill out college applications, and I told her not to bother. I explained that we weren't letting her go until she's old enough to make that decision for herself. She started crying and yelling at me, but I refused to budge. I don't think I'm being unreasonable, and honestly, her reaction is more evidence of her immaturity. But apparently she texted her aunt, who is calling me an asshole. Am I the asshole?
Listen,
I'm curious as a therapist's point of view.
I think the thing that sticks out to me is that there's all this stuff that she's outlining about her kid that are like problems or like risk factors in her opinion, right? Her kid being vulnerable to peer pressure, her kid being easily manipulated, like all this stuff. First of all, the response to that being like, I'm just going to hide you away from the world rather than provide you with practical skills and tools, or like having frank and honest conversations with you to help you not be that way, is an interesting take, in my opinion. I think a lot of like, I guess this is hard because like I don't have kids, right? I have no concept of what it's like to have this little tiny person that you love so much and that like feels very vulnerable to you, and just like unleash them into the world. I'm sure that's probably harder than I can imagine because I haven't done that. But also, to me, I feel like there are a bunch of in-between steps before we get to the place where we're like, you are forbidden from going to college. Like, why is the response that, and not like, we would feel more comfortable if you lived at home while you go to college, or like if you make sure that you live with like, I don't know, like a roommate, like a best friend that we really trust, or that like we come visit you, or like we, you know, have some very honest conversations about like, you know, you seem easily manipulated and like, do we need to take you to therapy or like work on that somehow? You know what I'm saying? Like it just,
yeah.
I guess to me, there's like a bunch of in-between steps that could address this issue that aren't like trying to control your kid in this very authoritarian way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think mom's the asshole here, and not because I don't understand where she's coming from.
Yeah.
And again, also take this with a grain of salt because I am not a parent. So maybe some parents can weigh in on this in the comments.
Yeah, please.
But in my non-parental opinion, I think I very much agree with you, where I think that it's not that I think her main, like, first of all, she's a minor. So I do understand, like, if you're a minor, like it or not, you are in your guardian's control for a certain amount of time. Like, I do understand that, like, that is valid, and I do actually agree with that because I think adults can typically and ideally make better decisions than a minor can. Like they know, they have the life experience to know what's good and bad for them. Again, typically, like obviously there's plenty of adults that are not that good, but I think in this case, like you said, it's very weird to just be like, no, like why not explain? Like, why not have a talk about it? And I also think what would be good, like, would be we're nervous about college for these reasons, the friends you're hanging out with. And I remember very much being a teenager. And if my mom told me that, or if my parents were like, I don't like you hanging out with these people, I'd be like, that sucks for you.
Yes.
Like, you know, like that would just make you love those people way more. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You'd be like, cool. Well, now I wasn't going to smoke, but now you really motivated me to do it. Like, that's just the way teenager mind work.
Yeah.
So she just obviously does not. And I kind of wonder, again, I don't want to judge because I don't know this person at all, but I do kind of wonder if having a kid so young made her grow up fast.
Yeah.
And so she feels like she knows even more because she like didn't get the chance to be a teenager and be young and stuff, which is like, right.
I get that.
But I think, like, why weren't you like, okay, we're nervous about college for these reasons. You can go, but you have to do this, this, and this before you do. You have to go to therapy for at least this many months, just to, you know, work out some of this, like, independent stuff and, like, why you're so dependent on us for every decision.
Yeah.
Why, and then, like, maybe take a class, maybe, like, put her in a self-defense class, you know, like get her pepper spray, put her in a self-defense class, teach her that, like, again, like teaching teenagers, like, never drink, never do drugs, like doesn't,
not effective,
does not work. Say like, hey, I would prefer if you waited till you were older to do these things, but if you're going to, please make sure this are in place, that it's safe, that the person is that you trust, and that you call me if before you ever get in a car. Like, I think her relationship with her kid is what needs to be worked on, not this particular situation, because obviously there's something missing there that your kid is just like.
Also, too, for what it's worth, I have a sneaking suspicion that the reason the daughter is so dependent in the first place is because of mom's anxiety. Like, this is a thing that parents do to their kids where, like, they're so afraid about something bad happening to them that they teach their kid, if you make your own decision, that you're inherently vulnerable. And so, like, therefore I have to make them for you, right? Like, mom's literally doing that in this example. I don't trust you enough to decide whether you're ready for college. I've just decided for you that you're not. But then in the same breath is saying, I don't understand why she's calling me all the time. Why can't she make her own decisions? And, like, it's because you've taught her that she's unreliable. It's because you've taught her that she can't trust her own intuition to make decisions. So, of course, she's relying on you because you've taught her that that's the only way to navigate life safely. So, like,
as I was talking, I thought the same thing.
You've kind of, like, hamstrung your kid a little bit into thinking that, like, of course she can't make her own decisions for herself, you know? And, like, to that end, it's not surprising to me then that she is particularly amenable to the suggestions that are made by her peers, because she doesn't have this strong sense of self, you know? Like, if you aren't teaching your kid from the time that they're little their opinion matters, that their feelings matter, that like trusting your gut is a really valuable resource, then like, of course she's looking to other people, you know? I just feel like this is one of those things where parents like do stuff to their kid and then they don't like the outcome of it. And then they're like, why is my kid this way? And like, you raised them, boo. What are you talking about?
Right.
Like, your kid is the way that they are probably because of you, you know?
And I have a good perspective on this because my mom and I are very much like this, where I mean, even in my 30s, I still like feel like, and don't worry guys, I am aware of this. I've talked to my therapist about it, and my mom is aware too. We talk about like we actually say straight up, like we're sometimes having a conversation where we're like, is this actually this, or is this our codependency? Like my mom and I straight up say that. Like we know that. Yeah. It doesn't mean it's fixed, but we are very much aware of our codependency on each other. And I think that that's what she's creating here. And we've gotten, I mean, like my mom and I have gotten better. Like I'll start off conversations like, I don't need you to do anything about this. I just want to vent about this if that's okay.
Yeah,
like that's helped us. My mom will say something like, tell me if I'm being codependent here. And like, you know, we try to like work it out that way. It took us many years to do that though. But this relationship sounds very much like that. And that is typically the mom like inadvertently, like my mom did not mean to do that, of course
not. Yeah,
you know, and like it doesn't mean you have bad parents. Like I have fantastic parents, and it doesn't mean that we have a perfect relationship. I was lucky enough to have fantastic parents, but still we have some like codependency issues and everything like that, because
people are people and they're imperfect.
And I just think that this is very much that, like, that seems like she's creating, she's weaving a codependency with her daughter though, because like you said, the irony of her saying like she can't do this, she doesn't know this, blah blah blah, she's constantly calling us for this, and it's kind of like, why? Like she's obviously wants a little bit of independence, because she's like going with these friends that you don't like, and like it's kind of going about it the wrong way. So I think, my personal take is that it's not like, I don't think she's a bad person or anything, but in this particular situation, she's the asshole. Mom.
I think so too. Especially because like it's normal for a parent to want to protect their kid, you know?
Very much.
But at
and
a certain
worried.
point, at a certain point though, we have to face the realization that like the world can be dangerous, right? It's not inherently filled with danger and disaster around every corner, but like it can be dangerous. But if your kid is ever going to learn how to navigate that successfully as an adult, they have to try, right? Like there's going to be a lot of trying and failing, and I think personally there's a lot more value from a human development perspective, from a psychological development perspective, in giving your kids the safe and like a container to safely fail, you know? Like I think there's a lot more value in like calling her aunt and being like, yo, she doesn't want to talk to me, can you please, like, can you be the cool auntie and like fucking check in on her every now and again? And like she probably will call you if she's drunk and in a car before she'll call me. So like, can you lay some groundwork with her and maybe visit her, set up a monthly lunch date or something? I don't know. Like utilizing that support system to create kind of like invisible boundaries that your child can fail within, to me is a lot more valuable than just like, no, you're not allowed to go. Like that's not very effective.
And how is she ever going to become the mature adult you want her to?
If you give her no opportunity. If you're not
giving her room to do that. That's very true as well. I think,
especially because like from a social perspective, I can't imagine that that's going to be good for her to see her peers leave her behind, and like the reason you're not going is because we think you're a baby. Like,
and what do you want her to do?
Thanks,
if she
Mom.
wants to go to college, she's out of high school. You want her to just like get a job, because then she'll be stuck in a job, and then she might do that instead of going. You're also risking her not go to college at all. And if she has the privilege of getting to go to college, then it's easier to go if you go right out of high school. So
also too, just like as a person who, like, if I had to go back to college now, being older than everybody else, I wouldn't go. I'm not going. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like so fucking awkward and uncomfortable. And like, granted, at least she's only a year older, but like being older than your peers, and like, can you imagine?
She's even younger.
No. But like if she waited and then she had to go, she would be going to college with the people who were a year younger than her.
Right.
Which would be very
She'd
awkward.
be like, I'm a freshman and she's turning 20 this year or whatever. And then people would be like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like this whole cohort that you don't know. That's not very fun. Yeah, I think.
Should I read a couple comments?
Yes.
Sorry, what were you?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say I think mom is the asshole in this situation.
Okay.
That's my final vote.
For 7.2 thousand upvotes on the first comment, and it was posted only 4 hours ago. How does I can't say this fucking word. Infantilizing, thank you, her help her learn to be independent? How does stifling her help her development? You're the asshole. And then the person below them said, and why isn't she more defended? That's usually the parent's job to ensure that. The next one with 2.1 thousand upvotes says, you're the asshole. I have a late birthday as well, and I was very naive in high school. College is what made me mature into the young adult that I am now. What I can't get over is the way you discuss her calling you and your husband as if it's bothersome. Mm-hmm. I call my parents at least 2 times a day just to hear their voices because I love them and I miss them. It sounds like you could barely even stand your daughter. At the rate you're going, she's going to apply behind your back and never speak to either of you again. And good for her if she does. Whoa.
Wow.
Reevaluate your way of thinking and try to have some faith in your child. Edit for typos. That's a lot, but
that's
like,
some very severe energy.
I agree with the overall sentiment, but that's a little harsh.
Yeah.
Like, also, people to that commenter, people also don't typically listen to your advice if you're mean. So
yes. That's like that's very Reddit, I feel, though. The like, if your daughter never talked to you again, then good, because you're terrible. Like, that's literally so calm down. Okay. Like, we can say that, like, in this situation, you were the asshole, and then also honor that we don't know anything about their relationship, you know?
Right. Seriously. Boy.
Wow.
Okay. We've been on for about an hour. Do you want to do one more?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah. I'm down. Do you have another one that you wanted to do?
I don't, or we can look through the subreddit.
Okay. We're going to do one more today, you guys.
Yep. Okay, so we just found this one. It's called Am I the Asshole for Calling My Wife Insecure and Selfish on Our Wedding Day? Which, Hannah, when we were talking about this, immediately you were like, yes.
Do we need to even read this one? I don't need to know the context.
So this says, I, 28 male, and my wife, 26 female, got married last Wednesday, and the ceremony was amazing. My wife was very strict on the fact that no guest is allowed to wear white, which is understandable because for females, I hate when men refer to women as females. For females...
Sorry, go ahead. I think I was... Never mind.
Which is understandable because for females, that's considered rude or bad luck at weddings, I think.
For females. I thought he was saying we females, which I was like, wait, what?
No.
I got real confused.
This man is referring to women as females. Which I don't appreciate that either, in my opinion.
Very much feels like somebody reducing someone to their anatomy for those of you that don't know why that's
also
weird.
Like, we describe animals as male and female, not humans. That's weird.
Right. It's just kind of weird. Yeah.
Okay. So this says, the reception was going well too until I noticed my wife walking over to the bathroom with her face held in her hands. Obviously, I could tell my wife was upset as we've been together for 3 years now, and I can tell when she's upset. Well, she's literally crying, so.
Good for you. Yeah. Good job.
Okay. I rushed across the room telling guests 1 minute as I hurried by them. Once I got to the bathroom, I knocked on the door and informed my wife that it was me at the door. After a few minutes, I heard the door unlock and open. When I got in, I saw my wife sitting on the floor with mascara running down her cheeks.
Aww.
I asked what was wrong, and she told me that one of our nephews was wearing white jeans and a white bow tie. I immediately thought to myself how she was completely overreacting because he's a 6-year-old child and had no idea that you can't wear white to a wedding. I told her that she was overreacting, but in a much nicer way, and I said that she should go enjoy the reception and forget about the whole thing. She eventually texted her sister to come to the bathroom and fix her makeup so she could go back out and have a good night. After a while, I saw her talking to my sister, the mom of our nephew, and I thought she was just making conversation. About an hour later, my sister pulled me aside and berated me for my wife's behavior. She said my wife had asked her and her son to leave unless she had a change of clothes for them. This was far from okay to me, so I asked my wife to talk and explained everything my sister told me. My wife said she was completely in the right for what she asked, and I told her that if she kicks my family out, then I will happily leave too. My wife started crying again.
Wait. Pause. Sorry. I got confused a little bit there. Wait, the husband, the guy writing, said that he threatened to leave?
He said to his wife, if you kick my family out, then I'll leave too.
Okay.
My wife started crying again and saying that this is her day and she doesn't want it to be ruined by our nephew. This angered me because I had enough of her ruining our day over something silly. Then I said she was not only selfish, but that she was insanely insecure if she's worried about a 6-year-old looking better than her. My wife's been staying with her mother since the wedding, and we haven't spoken once. Her mom reached out to me this morning and said that I need to apologize right away for being, quote, out of line. I really don't believe I'm in the wrong here, so what do you think? Am I the asshole? Well, that turned nuanced real quick.
That was not what I thought it was going to be. I would say my best advice for this situation was get your marriage annulled immediately. Because
Hannah! What the fuck?
I stand by that.
My God. Okay, why?
It's ridiculous. Because they are both absurd. Because if this is the problem they're having on their wedding day, and I am so confused as to the first sentence of that post, if I remember correctly, was our wedding day was great.
Yes.
What? Hello? What part of your wedding day was great? What are you talking about? If that happened on my wedding day, that would be the only thing I would remember.
Yes.
What are you talking about? It was great. It sounded like a disaster. Mm-hmm. Like you said, red flag for him calling her like those females, like you females like to do. But everybody sucks here. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I do get real sensitive about bridezillas or groomzillas, whichever it is, because you need to understand that when you put on that big of an event, and I've never been married, you have, so you probably understand this better than I do, but when you put on that big of an event, yes, you try to make things as perfect as possible, but something always goes wrong.
Yes,
you have to make room for something going wrong.
Yes.
And the thought of letting somebody wearing white, even I don't care if somebody showed up in a wedding dress.
Yeah.
The thought of you letting that ruin your wedding day, I'm sorry, but that's absurd. You should not go into your wedding day. Like, that's your problem if you let anybody ruin your wedding day.
So, like, I will say I think there's one exception to this. If the groom's mother shows up wearing a white dress, that's a wedding day ruiner for me. Like, that, to me, I'm like, fair. I would be fucking mad if like the groom's mom shows up wearing white and is doing the like emotional incest thing of like, it's my day too. Like, ew. You know what I'm saying?
That's gross, but still, it's still on them for acting that way.
Yes, but I think the reason that that's like an exception in my brain is because it's not necessarily the responsibility of guests to be like making your day perfect, but when it's somebody that's like close to the groom, then it's like the groom's job to show up for you and advocate for you and your marriage now and say like, that's not okay, right? Like, you need to
Have you heard of a situation where the groom's mom showed up in white?
This happens all the time, Hannah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
ew.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And usually what happens is
really gross.
The groom will be like, oh, she didn't mean it like that. It's ivory. It's fine. Right. I don't know what she's overreacting about. But I don't disagree with you necessarily because can confirm it does not matter how much you try to plan your wedding day. Shit is going to go wrong. And like, there's nothing that you can do about it. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you can cancel the whole wedding, I guess, but like at that point you're just punishing yourself.
And you're really going to go crying into a bathroom because a child wore a piece of white clothing on your... Okay, the hard part about Am I the Asshole is that it's one person's perspective.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
For all we know, like, what if somebody came up to her and told her that she looked ugly or something on her fucking wedding day and she didn't tell him that part? Or like... Or like, from his point of view, he's just omitting a lot of details. Mm-hmm. So we are taking this at face value based on what he said, to be fair.
Because the other thing that I have questions about is what the relationship is like between the groom's sister and the bride. Because it was the groom's sister's kid, right? It was his nephew. That was
the mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I could see someone having that reaction if she has beef with his sister, right? Like if they have had a very contentious relationship and she just felt very unsupported by the groom's sister, and then all of a sudden her kid shows up wearing white, I'd be like, you stupid bitch. Like you did that on purpose. Like you dressed your fucking kid in white just to spite me. And I would be fucking salty about it. I don't know that I would have that pronounced of a reaction, but like everybody has different emotional thresholds.
Didn't they say she specifically asked people not to wear white? Like that was very important to her.
Yes.
So she asked the guests to make sure not to wear white. I didn't know you needed to tell people that. I thought that went without saying. I thought that was normal etiquette for a wedding to not show up in like white, but like whatever. But that's a really good point. Like what if behind the scenes, her sister-in-law and the bride were like, what if the sister-in-law is really mean to the bride and she like was being passive aggressive and dressed her son in white because she knew it would piss her off, but she also knew it wouldn't be so far that she could prove that she was pissing her off.
She's not wearing white. Her kid is not wearing white.
So she could play dumb and say, oh, that's what he wanted to wear. Oh, we didn't know it was for the boys. Oh, you could have a million, but she would know it would still piss off the bride. And maybe there was all that going on behind the scenes and the groom is just taking it at face value and he's a socialized as a man in that way that like they don't understand like complex.
The other thing too that sticks out to me is that I feel like he could have saved this situation if he had just been validating, right? If when he had gone into the bathroom and been like, I know, baby, I'm really sorry. Like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with her. Like, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why the kid's wearing white. Like, I know it was really important to you and I'm really sorry. Like, take your time. I'm going to go grab your sister, right? Like, she's going to fix your makeup. We're going to have a great day. I'll go talk to her. I'll just let her know, hey, this was not okay. You hurt her feelings and like, I'll handle it, right? We could have saved this day.
I'll talk about it with her later. Yeah, like we won't make a big scene at the wedding.
Yes,
I'll give her a heads up.
There's a problem together, but like I'll talk to her. Agree. Don't worry about it, you know. But instead, he was like, "You're being a baby. Quit crying. Get back out there." Like it's not a softball game, sir. Like what?
Well, at first he was like. I mean, okay, to be fair, remember, not everybody's a therapist either, so they don't always know great ways to handle stuff. I do agree with you that, like, some version of that is, like, basic human decency and basic supportive partner. I do agree with you. I do think that when he went in at first, it was almost good. Like, he was almost, like, he was like, sympathetic, at least. Maybe not empathetic, but he was, like, I know in his head he said that she was overreacting, but at first he was, like... you know, trying to salvage the situation. Yeah. But I 1000% agree that like if she felt like she had somebody on her side, even if it wasn't apparent to everybody else, if they could go home and she could be like, yeah, I'm still really upset about that. I feel like she did it on purpose, yada yada. Yeah. It seems I also, hard agree with your assessment.
Because, like, yes, not everybody's going to have, like, the language for that necessarily. But, like, I would be willing to bet, based on the way that he described it, that he probably went in with some insinuation that you're overreacting.
That she was overreacting.
Which doesn't make it better. If anything, that makes people feel worse and makes their emotional reaction even more pronounced, because then they're like, I'm right? Like, I'm allowed to be upset about this. I know that I'm right. And I would not be surprised if that is why she ended up trying to read the sister the riot act after she got out of the bathroom, because I bet you that her sister also probably came in there and hyped her up a whole bunch about how, like, your husband's a fucking idiot and, like, didn't like, you're not overreacting. And then we're doing this. You know what I'm saying? If he had just honored that, said like, no, like this sucks, but like we'll deal with it later. I want to have a good day with you. Like let's just.
I don't want to make a scene at the wedding, but I assure you, I will defend you and I will.
Yes, or like, you know, I'm on your side, even if it was just as simple as like,
even if
you know, you're right. Like that's stupid, and I'm on your side, and I get it. Like you're upset, but also I don't want to ruin our day over it. You know, like I want to have a good day with you, so let's just,
So after all that, you still don't think they should get their marriage annulled? No. You think that's too harsh?
Yes. Okay, so here's the thing.
I think this sounds toxic all around for me.
But the thing
I'm just like,
the thing
I don't
that
understand.
pushes my buttons the most about Reddit though is that in every comment section about any relationship ever. If you like relationship advice, this subreddit, like the number one piece of advice that people give for like, am I the asshole, or like relationship advice things is like, get a divorce. Break up.
Yeah.
Like, hello? Which like is so much easier to say than it is to do, first of all. But also, you know nothing about their lives. Like, people on Reddit like really die on this hill. Like, they are so aggressive and like mean about it. Like, people will say, I guarantee you there's probably comments on this post about how like, if he treated you this way on your wedding day, he'll never get better. He's a narcissist. He's a psychopath. Break up with him. Get a divorce. And like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like those people who commented on the post about the mom being like, if she never talks to you again, good. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
But I do feel like there's a lot of red flags on this guy.
I don't disagree. But also,
I feel like
if she wants to be married to him, she wants to be married to him.
Yeah. I feel, and I mean, for me though, I can't speak on it too much because I just don't know what I would love to know her side of the story.
Same.
Yes. I would love for her to make an Am I the Asshole post about the same thing and have her explain the details and what was going on in her head and stuff.
Agreed.
When this happened. Because I am also of the mind of like, do I think she overreacted? If it was face value and it was just someone wearing white, say the sister was not being passive aggressive, is that an overreaction for somebody wearing white? Absolutely. Like, yes. And like we said, you need to make room for faux pas and for bad shit to happen and mistakes to happen at your wedding, or you're going to be disappointed. But I'm also very much of the mindset that weddings are, and I just love weddings too, but Same. I do think weddings are like, again, if it's a heteronormative wedding, I'm very much of like, the bride should get pampered and get everything she wants and everything like that, you know? And I guess, and I'm also saying this, one of my friends is getting married in September and we're going to her bachelorette party next weekend. We're going out for a weekend and I'm helping plan and buy stuff for the bachelorette party. And we're just like, all the girls, we're just all so like, we're paying for everything for her and we just want things to be so fun for her. We want her to like, that's all we care about is her having like a special weekend and time. Stuff. Her maid of honor lives across the country. So we can't help like
you guys are like helping to
so anyway sorry not to digress, but like I am very much like I do understand that like you get to be high maintenance for your wedding, like you also get to be more high maintenance, like you need to have reasonable expectations, but it is your day, like you should have reasonable expectations, but still you should get pampered. And it's a really really dick move to go to do something the bride specifically asks you not to do. I personally, like, I'm of the mind that, like, weddings are, like, sacred, you know? I know that sounds sort of cheesy, but, like, a wedding is a special day. And also, they're very expensive, you know? Like, it really is not a lot of skin off your back to wear what they ask you to wear, to be respectful, to try to, like, keep it in your pants for the day so that the bride and groom behave yourself.
Have a nice day. I just don't understand the like we are blatantly wearing white thing. And like I guess it's different because it is a kid and it's a boy, but like still like
I can't believe it wasn't passive aggressive.
You would have to look for an outfit like that, right? Like white jeans.
Matching bow tie. She said matching bow tie. Like
where are you finding a white bow tie for a child before you're finding a black one?
Right. You know I'm very suspicious of the sister-in-law
from me.
And yes, that is as well for me.
But
too.
I don't disagree with you, though. Go ahead.
I think if you had this person as a client, like the bride as a client in a therapy session, I think the first question a therapist would ask would be, okay, it wasn't actually the white outfit. What is deeper? Like, what is actually bothering you about that? And I think that would roll into her relationship with their sister-in-law, not feeling like she has a real partner on her side, yada, yada, yada. So, okay, fine. Well, if they don't get their marriage annulled, they should definitely consider couples therapy and see if they could. Because obviously you've been together 3 years and you're already being really unsupportive and like on your family side. And I also am very much of the idea that once you marry somebody, they're your primary partner. Like, again, excluding people that if they're polyamorous and they have equal partners, but even then,
yeah,
your nesting partner, like, you have to put them. I think that parents should put each other above their kids in a lot of ways, not above their safety, but above, but they should be, kids cannot be happy without happy parents. And I think your relationship needs to come first. And I think it should be ahead of your origin family too.
I think so too.
Like, it's weird.
Which historically cishet men have a difficult time with. You know, they're not particularly validating of when their family is mean to their partner.
Right.
And they usually have the tendency to do you're overreacting. It's not that big of a deal thing. Which, if that's been going on.
She's my mom.
Yes.
Like,
what do you want me to
my
do?
Mom. What do you want me to do?
If that's been going on for any length of time, I'm not surprised at all that she flipped her lid on her wedding day, because it was probably like, this is the one fucking day that I can control, and you people are like trying to wrestle it out of my hands. Yeah.
Right. I think so too, which is so sad. They should have done a little therapy before the wedding.
Yes. Yeah.
I think, and that's just so...
I think that's like an everybody sucks here for me.
Sad.
Personally.
I do think everybody sucks, but I would love to know the bride's point of view on this.
Yes. All right, let's look at the
comments. I'd love to know the point of view on everybody's.
The top comment says, not the asshole. Jesus, it's a 6-year-old in a bow tie. Did she think people would confuse him for the bride? Is she 3 feet tall and she was wearing a bow tie? She was insecure and selfish. It wasn't her day. It was both of your day, and she ruined it by throwing a tantrum. Take a good look at how she handles conflict, as this is going to be your marriage. Doesn't like your response, throws everything out of proportion and runs to mommy. It's nearly enough for an annulment. Think about it. See, what did I say?
Okay, well, that makes me look like an asshole.
I feel like also people are misunderstanding like the point of asking people to not wear white. Like, yes, obviously for the other adult women at the wedding, it's disrespectful because like you don't want to look like the bride, but also it's just about honoring somebody's wishes for a day that's important to them.
That's them, and they're paying for your dinner that night.
It's
like,
not
if
that
somebody
difficult.
bought me dinner, I would wear what they
yes,
do
that's
too.
what I'm saying. And
I
also,
guarantee that was a man.
If they have treasured you and cared for you enough to invite you into a very special moment in their life, the very least that you can do is put some fucking appropriate clothes on, in my opinion. Like, I think he's right. It is both of their days. It's supposed to be a special day for both of them.
Agreed.
And when one partner is having a really bad time, that should affect the other partner, right? This is like the food thing again. Like, if your partner is unhappy, that should be enough for you to like care, to validate them and want to do something about it, you know? But like, this man really seemed content to be like, dry your eyes, let's go dance, bitch. Like, that's just like really uncaring, in my opinion.
I think if you scroll through the comments, I do want to read a couple more comments to confirm my hypothesis. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of people are going to say not the asshole in this situation because of the bride's perceived overreaction.
Yes.
Where I think a lot of people probably aren't thinking it through the way we are, where what else is going on there. It's obviously not really about white pants. And I feel like a lot of people are going to say that. So
yes.
Would you scroll through a few more and...
Yes, I'm looking at the other top comments. So the top one says not the asshole. The next top comment has 2.4 thousand upvotes. It says not the asshole. Her reaction was really extreme, and I can't make sense of what that child was wearing, what that child was wearing even matters. You do not owe her an apology, and apologizing when she was that out of line is setting the tone for the rest of the marriage.
Wow. Yeah.
Because also, that's funny that I think everybody owes everyone an apology here.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, there might be red flags there if she really was overreacting just about white pants. Yeah. But he has red flags too.
Like, I do think it's over the line that she tried to tell them to leave. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Right? But it's also over the line that he was like, then I'm going to fucking leave. Like, hello? What? This is like so... Yeah, I think this, for me, firmly, this is an everybody sucks here. The next top comment says, can you get an annulment? Surely it's not too late. She's crazy for being so insecure about a 6-year-old boy wearing white jeans and a bow tie at his uncle's wedding. How in the slightest is that taking away from the bride?
I feel like such a jackass for saying they should get annulment now. This is my initial takes are never good, apparently, is what we're learning from Am I the Assholes.
I think it's like the Reddit thing. Like when you're on Reddit, it's like this cultural thing where like people jump to that. And like to me, it pushes
a psychological phenomenon.
Yeah. Not the asshole. I would be upset too. It's not just her day, it's yours too. And there's no reason she should try to kick out a 6-year-old nephew because he had white jeans on. Pretty sure she didn't have to compete with a 6-year-old boy. Yeah, I feel like people are getting really hung up on the like kicking the family out thing, which like to be clear is a vast overreaction and is really disrespectful. Right. But also like there was a lot of lead up to that point that like to me indicates that everyone here sucks.
Yeah, I don't understand why nobody is commenting on the fact that he literally threatened to leave his bride at their wedding.
That's what I'm fucking saying.
Nobody's concerned about that. That doesn't seem like a red flag to anybody.
Apparently
that
not.
Seems like a red flag to me. He's already not taking her side and assuming like you can think somebody's wrong and still be on their side. Like
also,
I think
he
I need to
said from the beginning that he thought she was overreacting before he even knew what was going on.
Right.
That's a side eye.
So like right. And you can still support somebody without agreeing with them.
One of the next top comments though says info, do the parents of the nephew like to push the limits on the rules? In other words, is this a one-off or is this a habit?
Okay, good.
No response from OP on that question. He's responded to every other top comment saying,
everyone else.
Thank you so much. This was so helpful. Thank you. I agree with you.
Because you're validating me, of course.
One, no. Yeah. Another comment. Info, do your wife and your sister have issues with each other? And then the comment underneath that says, the fact that he hasn't responded to this lets me know that the sister has indeed been having issues with wife, and this was her way of sticking it to her wife, and husband thinks wife should just shut up about it.
Yep.
See?
Okay, yeah, so we're not the only ones that thought of that.
The comment underneath it says, everyone sucks here. Why would your sister dress her son in white knowing it's not acceptable? Does she dislike your wife? On the surface, your wife is unreasonable and overreacted. It's a male child, not a woman in a white dress. However, if she's used to crap from your sister, then her reaction would make more sense, as she would know that this was a deliberate act by your sister. You didn't deal well with the situation either.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm glad we're not the only ones.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and then there's another comment that says, it's like quoting from the post, because a 6-year-old child had no idea that he couldn't wear white to a wedding. And they commented, his parents did.
Yeah, exactly. I highly doubt that he went and was like, I want to wear white.
Literally. And if he did,
highly doubt.
It's really not that difficult to be like,
kid would rather wear a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle costume to a wedding. Like, what?
What a nice opportunity to educate kids about how some days are special and you have to wear special clothes. So we're picking you special clothes that just aren't white.
Sometimes I just hate people.
Also, what parent in their right mind is choosing to dress their kid in white for fucking fun? It's a wedding. They're going to get covered in cake and
they're going to get covered in food.
You cannot convince me that a parent chose to dress their kid in white just for the fun of it, because everybody knows that kid's going to be disgusting by the end of the day.
Agreed. Yeah.
That was intentional. I'm telling you right now.
I think so too. Yeah, I agree.
Smells like bullshit to me.
I agree. Yeah. I feel like the top comments were other white cishet males.
What a surprise.
Sorry, I should call them males if I don't want them to call us female.
Yeah, that one's a yuck. All right. I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
This was fun.
This was fun.
What are you going to have for dinner tonight?
I don't know.
It's 4:50. I want to know.
I know nothing except for fine dining in Baldur's Gate, so I'm not really sure.
What does that mean?
It's a SpongeBob joke. There's an episode of SpongeBob where they're turning the Krusty Krab into a fine dining establishment, and SpongeBob has to be a server, and he's really nervous about it. So he tries reading these books, and they like tell him, you have to clear your mind of everything except for fine dining and breathing. And so he forgets how to like do something, and then his like brain catches on fire. This
episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aaron and I say that all the time.
And then he's like robotic because he literally cleared his like he took
little brainstem just like snaps. Yeah, so that's me. I know nothing
Memory
except
unlocked.
for fine dining in Baldur's Gate. I have no thoughts except for Baldur's Gate and like breathing.
What is Baldur's Gate?
Baldur's Gate, the video game that I'm obsessed with, Hannah.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I just wanted to see if you had a plan because I think I'm going to go. I just discovered I'm allergic to fin fish, so I've always made sushi at home, but I just found a restaurant and I've been getting, because I can eat shrimp. So I got a bunch of their shrimp sushi the other night and I took a little bite and tested it to make sure that it wasn't cross-contaminated and that there wasn't, and it was fine. So now I'm going to go spend $50 on sushi.
That sounds delicious. Aaron and I have been making this salad that's like a California roll salad or like sushi salad, where it's basically all the stuff that you would put inside of a sushi roll, but you put it just in a salad with like rice and other toppings and stuff. And it's
like a nori bowl kind of?
Yes. Yeah. There's like greens in there, and then we crumple up some seaweed. And like this week we put ahi tuna in there. We like seared some ahi tuna and chucked that in there. It was so good. Now I really want that for dinner, but
that's what you should make for dinner.
I think, well, I don't have any more fucking tuna. It's kind of expensive.
Oh.
Also, I live in Arizona, so finding good quality.
Did not go grocery shopping. So all I have is this week is girl dinner, and I've been eating out a lot this week.
Yes. Yeah, I feel
if I'm not eating out, I'm doing girl dinner. So.
Aaron and I have been doing this thing where we buy a month's worth of groceries at a time instead of going once a week, which has been great, except that we're like at the tail end because it's been like 7 weeks. We bought an initial haul at Costco that's lasted like 7 weeks, but now we're kind of running out of food a little. So
some of the food doesn't go bad?
A lot of it's freezer stuff. And we do still make a trip to like a Sprouts, or like there's this local bakery that we've been going to get like bread and stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll buy like 1 or 2 things here or there instead of doing like a weekly grocery shop.
Gotcha.
So like produce and stuff we still buy mostly fresh, but
the stuff that goes bad in a few days.
Yeah. Or we buy it from Misfits, like the imperfect groceries thing, because they deliver it to your door and it's so nice.
Oh, that is nice. That is such a cool concept, but I would just waste all that food because I am not, because I'm a single person.
Ooh, actually, yeah, I just remembered I have beets in my fridge. I have beets and a honey nut squash. I'll probably make roasted vegetables for dinner then, because those are gonna go bad. What do you mean, ew?
I don't like squash.
It's delicious.
I don't like squash or zucchini or eggplant, anything like that. It's the texture. I don't. Mushrooms.
Okay, so here's the thing, though. I feel like I was a picky
eater.
Well, I feel like I'm not a fair judge of this, though, because I'm allergic to everything. So if there are foods that I can eat, then I'm like all about it, bitch.
What do you mean you're allergic to everything? Since when? You've never told me this.
Yeah, I'm allergic to bananas. I'm allergic to avocados. I'm allergic to like most fruits, like kiwi.
Like anaphylactic? Like, do you carry EpiPens?
No, it's not. I've never had an anaphylactic reaction, but like the doctor said it's possible because my mouth like swells and I get like blisters and stuff.
That sounds like an anaphylactic start because it gets worse every time.
Yes, yeah. So like I'm allergic to avocados and bananas and pineapples and kiwis and papaya. I'm allergic to walnuts. I'm allergic to so many things. It's like a cluster of allergies. There's like a, I'm sure, because I'm also allergic to latex. Yeah, if you're allergic to latex, you're like more predisposed to be allergic to other things. So that's my life. So if I can
get some EpiPens. Now I'm concerned about you.
Babe, we live in America. Where do you think I'm getting money for an EpiPen? Monetize this podcast, everybody, and I'll buy an EpiPen. How about that? I don't have money for that.
To be fair, though, GoodRx does usually have some really good deals on EpiPens because I do have to buy EpiPens every year.
Interesting.
And I can usually get 2 for about like $100 or $150. I know that's still absurd.
Yeah.
But without it, like it's $600. So
I know that's crazy that we're like, wow, $100. What a good deal.
I know, seriously. But that just makes me a little nervous that you're allergic to so many things. And
what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
But yeah, so if there are fruits and vegetables that I can eat, then I love them. So I'm a squash girly.
Yes. Do you like ratatouille?
Yes. If it's Italian food, I love it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's a lot of vegetables for my taste, but.
To be fair, I was a vegetarian for like 12 years too, so that's probably a part of it.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. I love vegetables. All right, so we'll stop boring you guys with my dietary restrictions.
I know.
Thank you guys for
being here.
My
fault because I'm hungry.
No, you're fine. I love you all the most. Hannah and I are so thankful that you guys are here.
We sure are. Yes.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you so much for being here, guys. Like the video.
Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and stuff.
And yeah, I was going to say have a good weekend, but people get this on Tuesday. So I'm going to say have a good rest of your week.
We hope you're having a good one wherever you are.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye.